I used to think I had a discipline problem. Then I thought I had a motivation problem. Then I thought I had a time problem. Turns out I had an honesty problem. I wasn't being honest with myself, and not in some dramatic movie scene way. Just small daily lies. I'll do it later. I work better under pressure. I just need the right mood. I've earned a break. And none of those sentences are evil. That's the scary part. They sound normal, reasonable, adult, but stacked together over months, over years, they build a cage and you don't even notice the bars. I remember a specific afternoon. Nothing special happened. No tragedy, no big failure. I was just sitting there staring at my laptop, tabs open, half-finished work, phone buzzing with notifications. And I had this weird realization. I wasn't overwhelmed. I was avoiding. There's a difference. Overwhelmed feels heavy. Avoiding feels restless. I wasn't drowning in work. I was just unwilling to do the part that scared me, the part where I might suck, the part where I might fail, the part where I might try my hardest and still not be enough. That's the part I kept dodging. And I told myself it was strategy. It wasn't. It was fear dressed up as planning. Do you ever catch yourself doing that? Talking about what you're building more than actually building it, researching more than executing, waiting for clarity when you already know what you need to do. That was me. And what makes it worse is I knew I had more in me. I could feel it, that quiet pressure in your chest when you know you're underperforming your own potential. Nobody else has to say it, and knowing but not acting, that's exhausting. You start getting irritated for no reason, short with people, frustrated at small things, because deep down, you're mad at yourself. I wasn't mad at the world. I was mad that I wasn't showing up fully. But instead of admitting that, I blamed circumstances, timing, energy, opportunities. It's easier to say it's just not the right season than to say I'm scared to go all in. Going all in is terrifying. Once you do, you don't get the safety net of excuses. You don't get to say, well, I didn't really try. You did try, and then the results mean something. That's vulnerable as hell. So I stayed in this middle space, not failing, not thriving, just coasting. And coasting feels safe until it doesn't. Until one day you look around and realize you haven't grown in a year. Your routine is comfortable. Your goals haven't changed. Your ambition feels dulled. And you can't even pinpoint when it happened. That's the part that scared me. There was no dramatic fall, just a slow fade. And I had to ask myself something I didn't want to ask. If this is as good as it gets, am I okay with that? And my gut answer was no. Not because I needed fame, not because I needed money, not because I needed applause, because I needed respect, and I didn't have it. You can't respect yourself when you constantly break promises to yourself. You say you'll wake up early, you don't. You say you'll train, you skip. You say you'll finish that project, you push it to next week. And every single time, something inside you weakens, not visibly, internally. You stop trusting your own word. And once you don't trust yourself, everything feels unstable. Confidence isn't magic. It's built brick by brick, kept promise by kept promise. And I was tearing down my own foundation. That realization pissed me off. Not at the world, at me, because I knew better. I knew what needed to be done. I just didn't want to be uncomfortable. I didn't want to feel stupid starting something new. I didn't want to feel behind. I didn't want to sit in that ugly phase where you're trying hard and still not good. But here's the thing. That phase, that's the price. You don't skip it. Right. Nobody does. You either walk through it or you stay where you are. Or you stay where you are. And so it slowly turns into resentment. Resentment at people who move faster. Resentment at opportunities you didn't take. Resentment at yourself. That's a shitty place to live. So I made a small decision. Not dramatic. Not life-altering overnight. Small. I stopped negotiating with myself. If I said I'll do it, I did it. Even when I didn't feel like it. Especially when I didn't feel like it. Not perfectly, not superhuman, just consistently. And something weird happened. My confidence didn't explode. It stabilized. I felt grounded, like I could rely on myself again. That changes everything. When you trust yourself, decisions get easier. You don't debate as much, don't overthink as much. You move and momentum builds. Slow at first, then noticeable. And here's where it gets uncomfortable again. Once you start leveling up, people feel it. Some respect it. Some don't. Some will say you've changed. You have. Some will say you're intense. You are, because you stop tolerating your own bullshit. And not everyone wants to confront theirs. That's not your problem. Your job isn't to stay small so other people feel comfortable. Your job is to grow, even if it makes you stand out, even if it makes you lonely for a season, even if it forces you to confront parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Because let's be honest, you already know what you need to fix. You already know where you're slacking. You already know the habits that are dragging you down, the late night scrolling, the half-effort workouts, the I'll start Monday nonsense. Question isn't awareness, it's courage. Do you have the courage to stop lying to yourself, to stop pretending you don't know, stop saying one day like it's a plan? At some point, you have to draw a line. Not for Instagram, not for anyone else, for you, and say, I'm done playing halfway, because halfway is exhaust, half effort, half belief, half commitment. Go all in or go home. And yeah, it's scary as hell because you might fail, but at least you'll fail honestly, not because you hid, not because you stalled, but because you tried. And you can live with that. What you can't live with is regret. Regret is heavy. It shows up in quiet moments when you're older, when the energy isn't the same, when the opportunities aren't as wide open. And it asks, what if? I don't want that. I don't want to look back and realize I had more in me and didn't use it. That would eat at me. I had to get real. I had to admit I was the problem. And weirdly, that was empowering, because if I'm the problem, I'm also the solution. No more blaming, no more waiting, no more pretending. Just work. Just discipline, just small daily decisions that stack. And I'm not perfect. I still have days where I don't feel like it, where I want to slack, where I want to coast. But I don't let that version of me win. Not often, because I've seen where that road goes. It goes nowhere. You weren't built to coast. You weren't built to fade quietly into something safe and small. You feel that restlessness for a reason. That itch, that's not anxiety. That's potential. And it's either going to grow or it's going to rot. So stop pretending you don't know what needs to change. Stop dressing fear up as logic. Stop giving yourself passes you wouldn't give anyone else. You're capable of more. You know it. I know it. Now do something about it. No speeches, no drama, just action. And if that stings a little, good. That means you're still alive enough to grow. Let's go.